There, I'm Helen,
Hi, I'm Donna.
and welcome to Teacher
Teacher
Talk
Talk
for
for
Parents.
Parents.
This is episode 10,
Yes!
and we are going to talk about parent-teacher conferences.
That's a big one, Helen. Parent-teacher conference is very important.
It is. And I think specifically we're talking about the first one.
Okay.
There's usually two per year.
Yep.
Not that that's the only time you see parents. But in the beginning,
Yeah.
it's only barely 2 months in, and
Yeah.
a lot of the times, we are also still getting
Getting
to
used
know
to. Yes.
each child.
Yeah.
Yes, we have their grades so far, and we know how they are in the classroom, and we can definitely talk to that. But it would be great if parents also came in with information
Yeah.
to give.
Yeah, and just some ideas of how it all works. So that way, when they do come to that parent-teacher conference, we can have some meaningful conversations about their child.
Yeah. So, how a parent-teacher conference works. This
Okay.
is what I did.
Yeah.
And I taught the younger grades. As a reminder, Donna, you were mid to upper, like third, fourth, fifth.
Yes, that's how I kind of ended in the classroom career. Yep, third, fourth, and fifth grade.
And I was more first grade, K, second.
Uh-huh.
So parent-teacher conferences, what to expect. Parents, at least from our end, is a quick review of the report card. And I would focus on reading levels as well
Yeah.
because that's super important.
Yeah, and it's the foundation for all other subjects. They need to be able to read to do everything else. So yes, the reading level is very important.
And participation,
Yeah.
how they're doing with participation.
That's a good one. Yep.
And of course, behavior.
Yes, that's very important, and oftentimes parents want to know about that too.
Yes. Just so parents know, though, honestly, we only have 10. What was your average parent teacher conference like?
8 minutes, honestly.
8?
And there
Okay.
was during one round of parent teacher conferences, I did use a timer. Because I
Really?
had so many parents. I didn't really like it though because it was so
But it is
definitive.
true.
But you just don't have a lot of time. If you have 30, when I did teach first grade, I had 32 students. So
In first
yep,
grade?
it was a lot.
Oh my goodness.
There were a lot of students. So parents, I don't have time to talk to you about every single thing. We just cannot get into a really thought-provoking, wholehearted conversation about your child at that time.
Right. Even though that is a great time to
course.
find out from the teacher how can we, like, when can we meet next,
Yeah.
or set up a time, set up
Yes.
some type of something
Yes,
to meet again and talk more.
that's right.
Because honestly, parent teacher night, there is like a set time.
Yeah, and that's why that 8 minutes is about right. Like when you're meeting with your 28, 30 parents, about 8 minutes is kind of the going rate because you only have 2 hours.
Yeah.
So when you factor it in, it's about 8 minutes. You probably won't get every parent, but 8 to 10 minutes is probably the going amount of time that you're going to be spending with us.
Honestly, it all depended on how many parents came.
Correct.
In my case,
But you don't know.
If I had, right, we never know.
Yeah.
But if I had a period of time when there's not a line of parents waiting in the hallways,
Right.
then that parent was lucky and had
That's
a
right.
lot of my time. But
right.
Once that the other parents start coming, and you feel pressure because
to get to the next person.
Yeah, you really do.
One year I actually did a sign up. So I called parents and made appointments. So it was like, 5:45, 6
Wow.
o'clock, 6:15. So that was tricky. Was it successful? Successful? Well, I didn't do it the next year, so it was just too much. And then it was
It is
hard
a
for
lot.
parents to be there specifically
Exactly.
on time.
And then what are you going to say?
was
Oops,
hard.
you missed your time. I don't think
I'm
so.
not going to do that. So yeah, that didn't work after that.
Yes. So another thing that I did is show them around the class the
Yes.
resources that we have.
Classroom tour.
And that's about it.
Yeah, and I like that little addition of the classroom tour. Most teachers will have folders out and notebooks out, so the student, before they leave for the day, will put some important notebooks in their homework folder, perhaps
Right
on
on
the
top
desk.
of their desk,
So
right.
that way, when the parent comes in, we can actually have a meeting right at your child's desk, so you can see inside and out. All the materials are there. So that's kind of the start of the classroom tour. And before you leave, give you a chance to either walk around with your child, or we'll kind of show you what's going on in the classroom. But that classroom tour, I think, is important.
Yeah. And I love it when parents sit at their child's desk
Me
and
too.
then look inside of the desk.
Me
and
too.
if they're like, oh my goodness, it's such
Yeah.
a mess, and then they start cleaning it out, and I'm like, yes, thank you.
I also love that. That's why I have them sit at their child's desk. I think that's important. Yep.
But another thing that I thought of while you were talking is you don't want parents to be in there while another parent is in there.
Agreed.
So please, like, once it's time for the next parent
Yeah.
to come, we love that you're enjoying being in the
Yes.
classroom and at your child's desk, but we kind of need private time with the other parents.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't necessarily control that as far as the parent-teacher timing, which is important to then follow up with your child's teacher at the end of that meeting to just let them know, listen, I would like to have further conversation with you. When is a good time? Is Tuesday afternoons a good time to meet with you? Absolutely. And then, the best question is, well, how can I contact you? That way we can keep in contact.
The follow-up is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like parent-teacher conferences is to find out when we can do this again, or how we can schedule
That's right.
something more with more time.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so some tips for parents of how you can come into the parent-teacher conference with your own kind of list of things to ask or talk about. So on my list, I put down, because the first parent-teacher conference especially, it's still the first couple of months.
Right.
And so please let us know, like, if your child has any allergies or medication or issues that we should know that maybe we haven't discovered yet in the first 2 months of class.
Yeah, let us know, both, medically speaking, behavioral speaking, just what kinds of things or challenges does your child have, especially medically, what's going on with them. Are they taking any medications? These are important things that we need to know. Obviously, the nurse or the medical staff at the school, the school nurse should know, but we need to know too. So
right. We don't always know what the school nurse knows, or we don't always know, what's in every child's records. I mean, we have their records, and of course we look through their records, but not to know every single thing.
Correct.
Like, just give us a heads up.
And sometimes
for sure.
things changed and we weren't notified. Maybe you did tell the front desk, you told the office staff, you told the nurse, but a lot of times we are not privy to some information. I shouldn't say privy. We weren't given that information, so we don't know this. So it's important to let us know, keep us updated, send us a note, but definitely tell us during parent-teacher conferences.
And if you're signing them up for, like, speech therapy, or if they're getting some type of extra support, we could chat about why you think they need that, or what have you seen at home, just so we know.
Yeah, that helps. It's all about making sure your child is successful. So get the team together, get the team. Make sure the team knows what's going on. So let us know. We're a big part of that team. So let us know what's going on with your child. From day one. Again, parent-teacher conferences is the perfect time to let us know about those things that you're doing.
And every quote-unquote issue is not so that we can dwell on the issue or problem at hand. It is so that we could come up with a solution to that problem, as best we can.
That's right.
Because we are in the same team.
Yes.
We both want the same things, a successful student. And, we need to get on the same page. And parent-teacher conferences is the perfect time.
That's it.
To get on the same page, or at least start to.
Correct.
So, you have some questions that parents can ask. So, at this point, parents, get your notebook and pens. Because it's also helpful if parents come in with some questions of their own.
That's right. I did come up with, through doing some research and just my own experience with, 20 years of parent-teacher conferences, of some good questions that parents that come in asking me this, I know that those parents really want to make sure their child's interests are acknowledged and supported. These parents that come in with these questions are curious. They want to make sure everything's going correctly, and they are fully supporting their child's education. So, ready for question number 1?
Yes.
All right. So if you're a parent and you come in and you say, teacher, may I tell you about what's going on at home? Wow.
Bing! Yes, please do.
Yes. Begin.
We would
please.
love to know the background.
Yes, good or bad. We want to know what's going on. How did TT move in yesterday? What is going on in your home? Good and bad. Is someone in the hospital at this time? It could be anything.
Are you going through a move? Is there a new baby in the house? Yes. A lot of times when there's a new younger brother and sister, that brings up issues of, neediness.
That's correct. And it's very natural.
Very natural.
But if we didn't know that,
tell us.
And we see some changes in your child, we have no idea why that's happening. So you telling us things that are going on at home, great. Question number 2, you ready?
Yep.
Is he nice? Is my child nice in your class? I get that question a lot.
I've never really gotten that question.
No?
But I feel as if it goes along with how they interact with others, which,
correct.
Yes, is a conversation, definitely.
Exactly. So the is he nice question, I like. I don't want you to lead with that question because there are academic stuff we want to talk about. But if a parent comes in and we talk about academics and you say, is my child nice to his classmates? I love it. Yes. Ask me that.
So by the way, parents, we're just giving suggestions.
Yeah.
Like we said, there's 8 minutes, 10 minutes,
right.
15
right.
max.
Yes.
So of course you're not going to get to all of this, but these
time.
are questions that when you do meet with the teacher one-on-one in the future, you can bring up.
And the teacher might address these questions before you even ask them.
Right.
So, number 3, what areas does my child need improvement in? Perfect question. Again, the teacher might bring that up anyway.
Right. That'll probably come up.
Yeah, that's going to come up. What are my child's strengths? What are my child's weaknesses? Academically speaking, great questions.
Very good. Yes.
Right? Is my child on grade level?
Perfect
question, parents.
Yeah.
Star that one. That's a good one.
And even if they're not, don't worry, because we'll talk about ways to help that.
That's
and
right.
ways to improve that.
That's right.
And if they're above grade level, which a lot of kids are, awesome. Let's give each other a high five.
Let's give each other high fives. I love it. How can I help? A parent might say to a teacher, how can I help? How can I help my child
Love it.
do better? Yes,
love
parent.
it.
Yes, ask me that question. I love it. Another question is, do you have any advice for me? Even if the teacher's not a parent, do you have any advice on things that I can say to my child or do with my child to help them? And what resources do you have? So this is a great question to ask a teacher. What resources do you have that I can take home? Or what are some online resources that I can use? What resources do you have available that are available for me to use at home to support my child academically?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we've been giving a lot of resources
on
these on our show.
Yeah.
But we also give that to the parents during parent-teacher conferences.
Absolutely. And there are some websites that teachers use often. There are schools, the school that I'm into, there are certain curriculum that we use, certain websites that are go-to websites. And I think that's in every school. Whatever curriculum that they are using has an online format that's connected to the curriculum. So we can give you that. Parents, we can give you that website. We can give you the link to the curriculum that we're using so you can actually see what's going on and see what your child is learning online.
Yes. So here's what I've, just so parents know, a lot of times if a child is well-behaved, participates, is at grade level, a lot of times parent-teacher conferences from my end is awesome job. This is the reading level, math, social studies, participation, et cetera, everything's wonderful. Do you have any questions for me? Everything goes really quickly.
It goes smoothly, yeah.
But, if they're when I was in grade school, I was a talker. I talked a lot.
No.
Yeah. And so, I'm sure that was an issue that my parents heard. But, a lot of times, and it's natural, there are issues that teachers are going to come up with. Or not come up with, but talk about.
That want to discuss, yes, with the parents.
That they want to discuss. And, so this is the time to really listen to one another, because it's all about the solution.
Yeah, and there may be some tough conversations. The conversations with parents of children that need some more support, maybe a little bit longer. And that's the time for the conversation to be very honest about what both parties can do, and what the child needs to do. We're a tripod here. It's three of us in this team. It's you as the parent, me as the teacher, and your child. We all have to get this together. So there are roles that each of us plays. During parent-teacher conferences, that's the time for us to have some serious conversation about who needs to do what and how we can support each other.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yay!
Totally agree.
Thank you.
Okay, so really quickly, a lot of times parents would want to know, well, if there is a behavior issue, for example, or my kid is too talkative, it's whatever it might be, how can I know this? I don't want to just know during parent-teacher conferences or every once in a while when I see you. So what I did in my younger grade classes is I came up with a system that on the homework sheet would also be a kind of behavior chart. And each day, the perfect day would be 5 stars. And if they got their name on the board, they would go down to 4 stars, etc. So at the end of each day, parents knew how their child was generally in the classroom.
Yeah.
So I think that even maybe if your child's teacher doesn't have something like that, maybe asking if they could occasionally give you a note in the homework notebook or something, so that you can see once a week, couple times a week, how your child is doing.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think teachers would be okay with that. And depending on how they would prefer to how teachers would prefer to communicate with you. Sometimes teachers prefer to use certain management systems that are online, like Class Dojo, for example. Or there are other systems that will send you emails weekly or daily. Or there are some systems where you can go online and see how your child is doing in real time. Some teachers like email. Some teachers prefer a quick text. I knew a teacher that would text on a whim, like a quick text for her. It could be anything. Your child just did 4 paragraphs, excellent work, really quick. Some schools don't allow for texting, so you kind of have to be careful. We have to put our phone away oftentimes as teachers, for obvious reasons.
But definitely you have to find out from the teacher what works best.
To communicate with you, and I think that's a great question for the teacher. How may I communicate or contact you?
Because communication is key. It's key. For sure.
So you want to know, how can I communicate with you? Sometimes it's difficult to write notes every day for every child. That might be difficult. But maybe for you, it's just one quick note or a series of stars or circles or smiley faces.
Exactly. The good old smiley face.
Hey, everyone can use a little smiley face.
Okay, parents. So here is your takeaway for this episode.
This is what you gonna do. This is what you're gonna do. This is what we would like for you to do, and it's all in the name of having a better connection to the teacher and making sure your child is successful. So what's their assignment today?
Well, school is getting started, and go in there and ask, when is parent-teacher conferences, so that you are aware when it is, so that you can free up that date and make sure that you go, and jot some questions down, as the year progresses, any issues that come up that you're thinking of. Jot it down, and so that's something that you could talk to the teacher about. So find out when parent-teacher conference is. Clear that date so that you can attend.
Yes, please attend, parents. There's there's an afternoon session and an evening session.
Right, and come with some questions.
Yeah, and so start making that list. I think it's a great idea, Helen, for parents to start making that list now.
Yeah.
You know what some of the challenges might be. You know what you're really interested in.
And you'll notice things as they come home from school with their new class, new teacher.
That's correct. And you might have some thoughts as to how they were last year and how you want them to be this year, or what you want them to continue or discontinue. So start writing some of those things down, jot them down, put them in some notes. And that way, when you come to parent-teacher conferences, you'll be prepared.
Yes. Because, like, communication, preparation is also key.
That's right. Be prepared. We all need to be prepared. So, yeah, that's a good way for you to be prepared. So that way, when you walk in and you have those 8 minutes, we're ready to go. We're both ready to go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And see you next time.
Bye.